These extraordinary scars on the landscape may look like they could be the product of supernatural activity, graphic patterns created by a force greater than us. But these mounds of earth actually played a crucial role in our efforts to win the First World War. These mounds and hollows are in fact the remains of intricate practice trenches, dug by soldiers in preparation for the real horrors on the Western Front in France and Belgium. And what they'd learn here would prove invaluable for the momentous task ahead. Trench warfare was used by the ancient Romans, but it became a powerful symbol of the atrocious battles of the Great War. The Western Front was a web of interlocking corridors separated by the infamous No Man's Land. It was at places like RAF Halton in Buckinghamshire that soldiers developed sophisticated trenches to help them gain an advantage and limit casualties. Martin, this is a dogleg trench. What was the advantage in this design?
This is what keeps people alive. It comes from bitter experience fighting the Boers in South Africa, where British trenches were much longer and more sort of sinuous, which meant that if a shell bursts, the blast spreads and the fragmentation, it kills lots of people. This means you can't do that. Blast here will just be soaked up by these buttresses here. Bullets can't travel along. If you've got people trying to capture your trench, each corner has a defender around it. It makes life much, much more difficult. Would your 1918 Tommy recognise this? It seems very technologically advanced. Totally, yeah. A 1914 soldier wouldn't have done, but by 1918, what we've got here is showing all the different techniques they were using. It's got the fire step. Your parapet there with that sort of shelf on it is so you can rest your elbow on while you're firing. Remnants of these practice trenches can be seen all over the country. But at RAF Halton, Martin Brown and his team of archaeologists are uncovering the trenches to discover more about this kind of warfare. Why dig here? Because this is where the guys were trained before going to those battlefields in France. The common perception, really, is that people don't think that they were trained. And they were. What would you expect to find here? What have you found? We've got all manner of things, and some of it tells us about their lives. Pickle jars, spoons, and this... It looks like sauce or something, HP sauce. And those both tell us something fantastic about the army diet at the time. They tell us that it's nutritious, yeah, but it tells us it's dull. So what makes it better? Well, being able to slap brown sauce on it. We've also got things that tell us a little bit about people keeping their morale up. Is this thing. Bovril, that's brilliant, isn't it? What improves your day? Yeah. It's a hot drink. We get a break, what do? We have a brew, we light up. Yeah, It keeps people going. Right from the beginning of the war, all soldiers were trained in trench warfare as part of basic training. Martin, just how important was it for these soldiers to go through training in actual trenches? Well, the big thing is that the British Army has got to take thousands and thousands of civilians, basically factory workers, dockers, office boys, and turn them into soldiers capable of winning a world war. So, yeah, fundamentally important. They took those dockers and those tram workers and all those sort of people, and those are the guys in 1918 who beat the Germans. Did this training work? Oh, yes. And the valuable lessons learned during the war form the basis of a trench manual written in 1921. What this does is distills all the experience of 4 years of fighting on the Western Front. And they've gone from having a single line of trenches to something like that, with front line, support line, reserve line, where to put your barbed wire, defended keeps, dugouts. We're sitting on a thing here called an A-frame, an inverted A. You put your trench boards on top of it, keeps your feet out of the mud and the wet. They're absolutely brilliant. It's poignantly sad almost that so many had died before they had this knowledge, and then once they've got the knowledge, time moves on. Tanks, airplanes, we never really return to this, do we? No, I mean, the point about the people dying first, yeah, it's one of those sad and hard facts of military history. It's the learning curve. Millions died during the First World War, and those who survived are no longer with us. But these practice trenches give us a vivid reminder of the ordinary men who sacrificed so much for their country.